This whole video is unfinished. I have the recordings, I have screenshots and whatnot. It's just that I was busy. Like, my boyfriend's birthday was like yesterday, and I had to do a bunch of college stuff. By the way, I got accepted, so yay. So all you're gonna have is just audio, and that's it. Like, there will be times where you see like the actual recordings and stuff, but it's mainly gonna be audio because I didn't finish this video. I'm also probably gonna have to remake this video with like an actual script because all of this is just improv. Like, all I did was just remember things from when it happened. So there was a few things that I kind of left out or misinterpreted because a lot of the stuff I said in this recording was kind of wrong. With that being said, enjoy the actual video. Bye bye. Trigger warning for these topics. There will be timestamps of where I talk about it more, but be warned, it will be brought up randomly, and if you don't like them, please watch this video at a better time or just watch a different video. Hey everyone, my name is Karma or Carmen, and this video is very serious, but I'm gonna be joking about it the entire time. This video was supposed to be made like a long time ago, back when I was in my sophomore year, but now I'm a high school graduate who's going to cosmetology school. I know this might be seen as like me dragging the situation, but it's not my fault. This guy keeps adding more and more drama, and I was even told by the topic of this video to not make this video on his birthday, but I don't give a fuck. My motto is keep your enemies close and then suplex them because they're your enemy. I don't have to be nice to you after what you've done to not only me, but like a bunch of people you affected. Like, this guy, I wouldn't say he like ruined my life, no pun intended, but I've had multiple dreams about me beating him to death. I have tried to make this video multiple times, but I'd always like cry in the middle of it because of the situation, and I don't want the guy with the same hygiene as the booger ghost from Ghostbusters to make me feel emotional. But this video is mainly to serve as a warning to anybody who might know him online or in person, mainly online because he's just never off of it because he's a fat smelly loser who will never find real love and affection in real life. And also, I want this to be an example of what not to do because I feel like the both of us have done not okay stuff. And I do want the opinion of people who are seeing this video. I do feel like most of the stuff I did was not the right move, but I don't know, maybe you guys will agree with me with some stuff. You're probably wondering, who is this guy that I'm making an hour-long video over? Well, this is him. Sorry I didn't put like a trigger warning for body horror. He goes by many names, too many for me to care about. So I'm just gonna call him what he is. A lying, manipulative, careless, gore-obsessed, racist thief who lusts over his friends and his own abusive father. But we'll just call him Pooh because that's a funny word. Pooh, from what I remember, went by he, they, it pronouns and has like 1,000 socials. So if you see like any of these accounts or these accounts, yeah, these are him. There will be other people included, so I'll just have their pronouns here. I'll also add some other random stuff because during my angry recordings, I forgot a lot of things. So yeah, I don't really know how to like format this video, so it's just gonna be a timeline from when we just met and like now, plus like some other stuff like sprinkled in. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Bye bye. This all started during my sophomore year of Central. If you're from Arkansas, you know Central is like the biggest, most popular school because of its history or whatever. I highly recommend. Also, I just came back from like Arkansas's hellhole called Southwest. I hate Southwest. I had so much drama there, which I'm not going to talk about, but I just want to say that I won. Everybody in that friend group that I ditched ended up hating each other, and like when the people that was in that friend group apologized to me because I was in the right for not liking them. If the same outcome comes from this video, like one of the people who's friends with this freaking weirdo comes to me and is like, hey, you were totally right, then I want somebody to cash at me like $20. So since this was my first year at a whole other school, I had no friends. So I felt like a freaking bum. So it was like my second period on like a B day or whatever, and I go into my choir class because I decided to take choir, and for some reason I was put in a special needs choir. I am not special in that kind of way. I'm special in a different way. I feel like that's really weird. Also, it's not even like an official class, but it doesn't really matter because like I stayed the entire like school year because I kind of just used that class as like a study hall. Since I was gonna be there for like an entire year, I decided to just make some friends that also wanted to do choir but also didn't care that they were in this class. So I'm looking around and I see Pooh showing his friend something in like a sketchbook or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, an artist. I'm an artist too. I go over there and I'm like, hey, I draw. I'm a drawer. And at first, I swear to god, I thought he was gonna like show me Dream SMP stuff because white people just eat that shit up, but no, it was just really bad, ugly art. I'm just saying that because I hate him. To any beginner artists watching this video, don't worry. You guys are fine. Just don't be like him because oh my god, we'll talk about his art later, but OMG, do not be like this guy. We started conversating or whatever. I still think he's kind of freaking weird because like while we were like hanging out, I realized this guy is just like so weird, and I don't know how I was like so blind to his weirdness because back then I felt like one of his like echo chamber of like friends or whatever who just don't care about him just being weird and cuckoo in the head. I'm just gonna name a couple of things. So the first weird thing is that he would always be like running, and oh my god, when people run in school, it is so embarrassing. Do you not feel embarrassed when you like run around? Like I only do that when like the hallway is empty and I like need to like go somewhere quick, like if I'm about to like throw up or something. But when he does it, it's so embarrassing because he has like these big old clunky heels that have like duct tape on them, and also sometimes he would like fall because there's like stairs to where our like cafeteria is, and it's so embarrassing. Like ugh. Second thing on the topic of like, you know, cafeteria, he sits on the cafeteria floor. Right here, picture here. And dude, like, I'm friends with this guy. Like, now his weirdness is coming on to me because I'm associated with this weirdo. Like, and does he not understand how disgusting the floors are? Like, the custodians do not clean the floors that well for you to, like, sit there. This floor has been there ever since the 90s. Does he not get how many, like, gross stuff is on there? But whatever. His body, his diseases. Also, I like remember like trying to get him to not sit on the floor because there's like a table right where he would be sitting at. He just was so stubborn and so like hellbent on like sitting on the floor. Like, you're not a dog. Like, does he not understand that this is why he gets bullied all the time? Another really weird thing, he would be like really touchy. He would be like really grabby and stuff. Like, he would always be like grabbing on my shoulder, squeezing my like thigh and stuff. It was really freaking weird. Like, ugh! Why did I not like hate this guy from the get-go? Why did I even stay anywhere near this guy? Like, I look back at my past self and want to punch her in the face because why did you let this happen? I wonder if this is how his friends feel. Maybe they're just trapped with this guy and don't know how to get out. Another weird thing is that like, I don't really remember how this happened, but like, I remember I was like showing like one of my OCs to him. She's like fat or whatever, and he was like saying weird stuff like, oh, she's so hot, she's so huggable. I hate when people call fat people huggable. Like, it's just freaking weird. Also, fat people stink. No, okay, I'm not trying to be mean, but fat people do have like a certain smell to them. I know it's probably mean, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. They like smell like either greasy or they like smell like regular. It's not like in the middle. Like, you know, I'm just gonna cut all this out. Cut it out. Another really weird thing, this is like my last one, but he would like draw on himself like all the time. I think it's because he has autism, but he has like a bunch of sketchbooks. What does he need to color himself for? Once again, his body, his ink poisoning or something. I hope he does get ink poisoning from doing all that stuff. Despite all that weirdo-ness, I, for some reason, decided to stay friends with him. But then, this is where things turn really, really weird. So, this guy had a lot of red flags. Once again, no particular order. Okay, one really weird thing is like his OCs. But his OCs are like really, really weird. I might make like a separate video because, surprise, I'm gonna make 2 videos about him. The second one's gonna be about me taking his characters. So, his characters are always like depressed or have like some sort of like not okay situation with them. I'm pretty sure one of them was just like an amalgamation of just like a bunch of different skin. They either like have some sort of like family issue, some sort of like an unhealthy obsession like alcoholism, or just not mentally well, or also have some sort of like body horror thing going on. Personally, I treat my characters like they're like my kids. So they're all happy and like live lives, but they do have some sort of like trauma or whatever, but it's like not that deep. It's just like minimal horrible things that happen to them. But it's all of his characters. None of them are happy. They're always like have something horrible in their lives. Like, switch it up a little. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't make characters have some sort of like trauma or like something bad happen to them, but for him it's just every single one of them, and it's so, we'll talk about it later about how his characters are like the same. And also I remember one time he like, it was like early in the morning when this happened, he like showed me his like little persona or whatever hanging, but like before he did it he like scribbled trigger warning in like his chicken scratch handwriting because, oh my god, I cannot read his handwriting. It is, look. But that was so freaking weird, and I hate when people do random stuff this early in the morning. PMO, bro. PMO, or whatever. On the topic of, like, his characters or whatever, there are, like, 3 of his characters that I have an issue with. Okay, so, randomly one day, he told me that he has only 1 black OC. He's gonna, like, if he sees this video, he's probably gonna say that he has 2, but it still doesn't make it right that he only has, like, few black characters. Also, I don't know why he even told me that. Why would you tell a black person that you only have like 2 black characters? Like, are you trying to like insinuate something? Like, why did you tell me that? That's so random. But when he told me this, I like decided to like go look for this supposed only black character that he had. I go on his Tumblr and I see this, and I'm like, okay, I assume that's the only black character. But then I go on like his Discord or whatever, and I see the same character, but they look like this. Yeah, that's not the same person. So I initially thought that he like basically whitewashed his OC, his only black OC. But then like later on he tells me that that is not the only black OC and it's actually this other character named Mute. I hate you. Why did you give it to this person? You could have gave it to me. Like, I could have done so much better because this guy has done some really weird stuff to this only black character. You know how earlier I said, like, one of them was made out of, like, different skins or whatever? Yeah, it's this one. I feel like that's really weird. Why is she a bunch of different skin tones and stuff? Another thing I have confused about this only black character is that, like, she would go by Mapel, which meant mute in Japanese or Korean, but I feel like it's Google Translate, and the reason why is because if you type in muffle without the E, it would be Mapel, and I feel like he probably rushed it and forgot to put the E there. And also in Korean and Japanese, this is what muffle is in those languages. I feel like he like culturally appropriates a lot. This isn't the only time where he like is really obsessed with Japanese and Korean culture. Like, he would like write stuff down in like Japanese and stuff. And also his main persona is named Kim In-sung. By the way, this guy is like white. Why is his main self-insert Korean? Like, what in the world? I feel like that's really weird. Am I not the only one who said that that might be a little bit weird? I don't know what's up with like white trans dudes who, like, want to be, like, Asian so bad. Like, this happened in my last friend group. I'm not gonna talk about it, but, like, why do you guys keep doing that? I have, like, 3 trans friends, and, like, my sister's trans too or whatever. And they all have just regular names. Like, is it that hard? Since this is, like, his only black OC, you'd think that he'd use pit crews that are, you know, for, you know, POC characters, right? You know, the ones that would have the right skin tones for them, right? Right? Ooh. So much for, not fucking it up, remember? I swear to God, he, like, told me the reason why he only has 1 black character is because, in his words, he didn't want to F it up. But, like, dude, look, it's not that hard to, like, color pick the character's, like, skin tone and, like, color over it. You just do this. Enough of my tangent on how badly he portrays his only black character. We're just gonna talk about his other character, who's supposed to be plus size, but she's not fat. She just doesn't look fat at all. Once again, he says that he doesn't want to mess it up, but I don't see you, like, making an attempt. So this next character, whose name is Magnesium, yes, the thing off the periodic table. I remember one time I, like, drew this character or whatever because I was so nice and because I was his friend or whatever. He told me that she was fat, but she didn't look fat at all. So I was, like, really confused. I forgot to add this in, but I feel like the reason why he's so bad at, like, representing characters correctly is because of the fandoms that he's in. All the characters in the fandoms that he's in, there are no plus-size characters or black characters. And no, this does not count. That is not a person of color. There is no color. They're either white, gray, or not even human. Also, I find it really weird that he says that he can't draw, like, people of color or plus size people, but can draw robots and people with star heads just fine. Google, YouTube, and his hometown, Tumblr, has a bunch of tutorials on how to do that stuff, but he chooses to not look for those, which is weird to me. So, off the topic of, like, his characters or whatever, I want to talk about him and drawing in general. So, like, I remember one time he was, like, complaining about, like, wanting to, like, learn how to draw different body types, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll teach you how to draw other body types. So I was going on my little spiel or whatever, and then he, like, turns around, turns up the volume on, like, his headphones or whatever, and just ignores me the entire time. And I was like, bitch, are you kidding me? You're complaining about how you can't draw, and you ignore somebody who's trying to help you? Like, okay. And then he would go around, like, fishing for compliments by saying, oh, my art's so bad. Oh, look, it's so shit. Oh my god, look how bad it is. Like, that is so annoying. And that's why your art looks so bad now. Because you haven't decided to learn how to draw better. On the topic of his art, he called me a transphobe. So he showed me one of his drawings of, like, his friend or whatever, and, oh wow, it was so great. And he tells me, oh, you know the person that used to be in our class, like, in the beginning? I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah, so this is her. Her? I thought that was a guy. And then he's like, oh, well, she's a trans femme, non-binary, femme-leaning trans girl. I think that's what he said, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then when I heard the word femme-leaning, I was like, I don't know. The clothes that she wears isn't really that feminine. I actually don't remember exactly what we said, but I remember saying that, like, her clothes was not feminine, and that was it. And then he got, like, really mad, and then, like, turns to the side and whispers, transphobe, as if I didn't hear what he just said. Okay, sure. Sometimes trans kids just can't really wear the clothes that they want to, but I don't think wearing a jacket and just regular jeans and rocking a ponytail is feminine. Like, wear some pink. Just kidding. But seriously though, at least try to look a little bit feminine presenting if you want people to see you as a woman. But then again, I didn't, like, say anything transphobic. I was just, like, stating the obvious. I'm pointing out that she doesn't look feminine. When he said that, I say, what did you say? And then he proceeds to, like, ignore me as if I didn't obviously hear what he said. And that really peeved me off. So I go on Tumblr and I text him and said, hey, why did you call me transphobic? And all the other stuff. Then he says, I was joking or something like that. If you were joking, how come you didn't repeat yourself? And how come I wasn't laughing? Because if it was a joke, then it would be funny. Like, calling me a transphobe is like calling me Adolf Hitler. I don't get what was the joke here. Okay, I want to add this here too. During the time of when this whole thing happened, I was dating a girl, a trans girl. I even introduced her to him one time. So would that make me like a closeted transphobe? And on the topic of being rude, he is a massive liar. He would lie all the time. He would lie so much that you can't even tell if he's being genuine or not. That's how bad it is. So the first time I ever caught him in a lie was like some random day. We were like doing our little do-re-mi or whatever. And he was sitting on his fat lazy butt texting his friend on like Google Docs or whatever. I'm like looking over and I see that he's role-playing or whatever. And our teacher, Miss Fudge, which, oh my god, I love Miss Fudge. Miss Fudge is like my favorite teacher ever. Like, she's so sweet. She's so nice. But yeah. So she tells Pooh, hey, get off the Chromebook. Whatever, redo. She tells Pooh, hey, get off the Chromebook. You're supposed to be doing your little do-re-mi or whatever. Participate with the class. And he's just sitting there ignoring her and going back to sexting with his friend or whatever. Then some like fat lady comes in and is like, hey, fish! Oh my god, I just yelled fish. Hey, Pooh, get off the Chromebook. It's not yours. Give it back. You're not even doing your work on it. And then he like switches to another tab and it's like, no, I am doing my work. See? And I'm like, why are you lying? You were literally on Google Docs. She has like Go Guardian or something. You can see like your tabs or whatever. She like takes the Chromebook and he's like, oh, she's always taking my stuff. Me. Like, dude, you lied to her face and there's probably a reason why you can't have a Chromebook. And there is. And that was like the first time I ever caught him in a lie. I also like talked to my like therapist or whatever about this. I asked her, should I really stay friends with somebody who is a liar? Well, Carmen, that is a very adult thing to think about. And then I proceeded to stay friends with him after that. Despite all that, him calling me a transphobe, him just ignoring me, him not treating his black characters right. Despite all that, we stayed friends. Until he told me something that changed our entire friendship to how it is now.